I will be talking about the option trial. So the option, the slides are not working. Okay, I have to wait? All right. So just before jumping into the option trial, so we know per guidelines that if the patient will undergo ablation, that they will need to be on anticoagulation for at least for 3 months. And depending on their CHA2DS2-VASc score, you might need to prolong the anticoagulation further. If they're high risk for stroke, then you probably want to treat them longer, if not lifetime. So the option trial looked at the utility of Watchman FLEX in reducing stroke events or embolic events, okay, compared to DOAC therapy. So patients who underwent ablation at the same time or in a future procedure underwent Watchman FLEX implantation compared to the standard of care, which is DOAC or therapy or anticoagulation, but most of those patients, in fact, had DOAC, more than 95% of them. So there were around 1,600 patients randomized 1-to-1, and they had a 3-year follow-up. So the primary endpoint was non-inferiority for embolic events or all-cause mortality, and the primary safety endpoint was superiority for non-procedure related major bleeding, predefined major bleeding, or clinically relevant non-major bleeding. And there were also additional secondary safety endpoint, including procedural bleeding. So these are the patient characteristics. They were young patients, average age of 69. The CHA2DS2-VASc score, as you can see, was about 3.5. The bleeding risk wasn't that high, so it was 1.2 Hasbled score, all right? And so 40% of those patients underwent concomitant LA appendage closure, while 60% had sequential LA closure. So they had ablation, waited for 3 months, and then they had their device implanted. So these are the results. As you can see, that Watchman was non-inferior in terms of the primary efficacy endpoints, in terms of embolic events and all-cause mortality, and it was safer when it comes to bleeding, with 10% absolute risk reduction in what we are talking about here is major bleeding and clinically relevant bleeding. And that was also predefined. So these are the individual endpoints across embolic and hemorrhagic stroke. And when we look at subgroup analysis, there were no specific groups that actually, let's say, were influencing the results. So the results were true across all patient characteristics, across different Hasbled scores, different CHA2DS2-VASc scores, different AFib types. All of them were benefited from Watchman FLEX in terms of reduction of bleeding risk. So now when we take a look at sequential versus concomitant implantation, so concomitant meaning that the patients underwent ablation and also device closure at the same time, and interventionists actually participated in the trial as well. So when the investigators looked at that, okay, first of all, those are the subgroup characteristics. So they allowed the implanters to decide if the patient will undergo sequential or concomitant procedure. So the implanters, it seems like, favored concomitant procedures in patients with significantly higher AFib burden and who were older, but they favored a sequential implantation in patients with increased congestive heart failure and previous ICD. So when we look at the results in those subgroups, so again, the primary efficacy, even if it's sequential or concomitant, was non-inferior when compared to drug therapy, and the primary safety in both were superior when it comes to reducing bleeding risk compared to anticoagulation. anticoagulant therapy. And concomitant procedure did not really increase the risk. So you can do safely the ablation and Watchman implantation when you compare it to the drug therapy arm. So hopefully by Q1 next year, we will know more about other indications for Watchman implantations. The Champion AFib finished enrolling 3,000 patients and will be announced at American College of Cardiology. It randomized 1-to-1 Watchman Flex to NOAC, so DOAC only were included in this trial. For all comers with non-valvular AFib and high risk for stroke, so CHA2DS2-VASc score of 2 to 3 and above, okay? They did not have a need to have a prerequisite of high bleeding risk, okay? So all comers were involved. And these are the primary endpoints that will be tested, and hopefully we'll know about them early next year. So in summary, OPTION trial showed superiority and efficacy of Watchman Flex when it's combined with ablation and reducing stroke prevention. So there were no, wasn't inferior to DOAC in that regard, and was superior by reducing the major and clinically relevant bleeding. Champion AFib, I think, will shed more light on the role of Watchman Flex in stroke prevention for all comers with non-valvular AFib. Thank you.